Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Surprise.
hope you're sitting down right now.
We are.
We're sitting down. Had a couple minutes between patients, and I grabbed Trainer Tony, and I said, Trainer Tony, get in here. I have some very important business to tend to. And he said, what is it? And I said, we're doing a Facebook Live. And he said, oh, brother. Okay. And then we said, what should we talk about? And we were trying to think of something really impactful and awesome. So this is totally just shooting from the hip. However, we always have cool stuff to talk about. So what are we going to talk about? Let me flip this around because I know Facebook Live likes to reverse everything so you can't read it when you try to look at it through the front-facing camera of an iPhone, or probably any phone for that reason. So flipping this around, look, it's Kaylee. Say hi, Kaylee.
Hi.
Okay. Hi. Functional movement belt system mastery. I give the credit to Trainer Tony. He's the one that came up with the idea of putting a belt system together, and it's really worked quite awesome. We had some Move Well doctors asking some questions about this the other day, but before I go any further, let me just tell you what we do. With Move Well University, we help chiropractors become significant in their community. You like that?
Yeah.
Isn't that a cool way of explaining it? If you want to be significant, if you want to have your patients drive past 12 other chiropractors to go see you, then you have to be able to offer them something more and differentiate yourself. So go to movewelluniversity.com and you can learn more about what we do. But what it is, it starts with functional movement. It kind of started with functional movement, and it has grown a little bit from there. It's become this, like at its infancy, it was just functional movement and how to put corrective exercise into chiropractic practice, right? And then like that little baby grew up, it grew a beard, it had dreadlocks, and now it's moved past that into systems, like major systems of patient engagement, education, making sure that they're getting the most out of care, and all with maintaining the chiropractic philosophy of the body as a self-healing, self-regulating organism. Nature needs no help, just no interference, and movement is life. Movement is everything, right? Did I miss anything? Was that a lot of cool sayings?
I like all of those. Yeah, it's still, functional movement is still the key, and I feel like our toolbox just keeps getting bigger. Like almost it seems like every week just keeps growing and expanding.
It does, and at the core of that toolbox, the 6 different tools. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but I'll flip this around. And we're going to talk about the belt system of functional movement. And actually, I'll put the camera on Trainer Tony and let him explain it so that you don't have to just stare at this diagram. He was wearing the black belt.
That's great.
And so I said to Marshall, I'm like, that's awesome, because this friend of ours, Marshall, owns a gym, and he's wearing our Gonstead strong black belt, results matter most, the black belt that he's earned. And I said, dude, you're wearing a black belt? And he goes, yeah, this was really hard to earn. He's like, I put it on every day. So this is a dude that owns a gym that comes and sees us like once every several weeks, and he sports this black belt every single day. So tell us, what is the belt system of functional movement, Trainer Tony?
When I first introduced this, most people intuitively get it when I say that how we operate is similar to like at a karate school, where you go in, you got your new karate uniform on with your white belt, and you're brand new, you don't really know anything, and you start out learning some very basic moves. And that's exactly how we do it here. We teach foam rolling, very basic movement patterns, some stretches, stuff like that. And then as you advanced, things get a little bit more interesting. Things get a little more challenging, a little more complex, and require a little bit more out of the patient. And I will maintain that just about anybody can get through green belt. And just like at martial arts schools, getting those higher 2 belts can be a little more challenging, and maybe not everybody's gonna make it there or make it there right away. But for the really committed individual who really wants to take this all the way, you definitely can. And so when I use that analogy, people seem to intuitively get that, even if they don't really know anything about martial arts. Like, okay, so I'm gonna start on as like a beginner, and then I progress through. And that's how the functional movement here works.
So tell us a little bit about, like, for example, it has some things listed out under white belt. Those are all things that someone needs to learn and master.
Right.
Until they can test for yellow belt.
Yeah, so this is our mastery list, and the way we did this is that these are the things at each belt level that you need to know to get that belt. So for white belt, you get that on day 1 because these are all the things that you're going to learn your very first visit with us doing functional exercises. And that usually takes about half an hour to an hour. And then as you go through, you're gonna learn more and more and more. And when we feel like you've learned enough at each level to test, then we check everything, make sure everything looks good, and then it's a pretty big deal. A lot of people really get into this belt thing and get very excited about progressing to the next level. And so it's a big deal when someone gets a new color.
And then also we have these chalkboards and belts up on the wall.
Yeah, you get your name up on the wall. You've probably seen pictures, and we have all the belts up there, and it's a pretty cool look.
So just real quick, just to clarify, I know these are some of the specifics, but I'm making this not just for the brand new chiropractor that's never heard of Movable University, that's like this belt thing, that's kind of cool, that's a cool way to engage people. Also for some of the Movable doctors that ask us a question periodically, they say, okay, I'm implementing these systems, I'm doing this, let me know just so I have a better grasp on this. They started a white belt, and then when do they get to a yellow belt? What movements do they have to finish and understand to get to a yellow belt?
So if we look at yellow belt, we see that I'm actually going to start with the bottom three first. Those bottom three exercises are very basic moves that, in my opinion, everybody should know how to do. Shoulder packing, and then we actually broke down our kettlebell get-ups into 2 different stages, 1 through 3, and then 4 through 6. They need to learn just the first half of the get-up, which can be a lot for some people if they've never done any moves like that before. And then deadlift. My little saying is all roads lead to deadlift. I think everybody should learn how to deadlift, even if it's not very heavy, just little light kettlebells, fine. Just understanding how to do that movement is super important. And then up here you can see we have clear all exercises from primary dysfunction. So when you first see your patient, you decide which of the 8 dysfunctions you're gonna focus on. You'll pick one that's gonna be the primary one that we're gonna start focusing on, and they need to learn all of the weight belt stuff. So they need to be working on this stuff at home and really master all of the stretches and foam rolling and all that stuff. Once we feel like they know that, we'll check it and make sure that they understand what they're doing. And if that's okay, then we can cross that off for their requirements.
Cool. So like in this case, someone needs to learn breathing, hip hinge, core, their warm-up sequence 1 through 3, static posture correctives, they're a white belt while they're learning that. Once they've mastered that, then okay, time to go to yellow. And while they're yellow, they're working on all the requirements in yellow.
Yeah.
Once they've mastered everything that's listed in yellow, now they can test for blue. And so the main thing that they would test for from a yellow to a blue belt is showing get up steps 1 through 3 and a deadlift, and of course everything else prior to that.
Yep.
Is that right?
That's
Cool.
right.
All right, so that is a summary of the belt system of functional movement with myself, Dr. Todd Pickman, and trainer Tony A over here. And of course, Kaylee. Hey.
I'm here.
Okay, and we're getting back to seeing some patients now, so we're keeping it short and sweet. It was a little bit longer than anticipated, but that's good because this is a good training on the belt system. An overview gives someone an idea of how do you organize exercises? How do you keep patients engaged? How do you gamify the process to make this not just a boring, let me stick you with a bunch of exercises like any other clinic normally is viewed in the patient's eyes. Instead, it makes it fun, right? And so find out more, go to movableuniversity.com, check it out. There's a couple things you can do. I don't have a copy of the book here. I was looking for it where we started, but we have a book that was written kind of as a 2-weekend conversation that Trainer and Tony and I had. We filmed a bunch of videos, and then we actually transcribed the videos explaining all the like 10,000 foot view of like how you put a corrective exercise department in a chiropractic clinic successfully, and then rewrote it, made it a book called Move Well Secrets. You can grab the book on the website that I listed, movableuniversity.com. And we also have a feature now where you can jump on a phone call with support, which is Vlad. He does our support. He can jump on within 5 minutes. He can let you know if this is even a possibility in your practice, if it even makes sense to continue the conversation. We have no interest in wasting your time or really wasting his, because I got a lot of work for him to do. So within 5 minutes, he knows if it's something that's worth continuing talking about. So if you're curious to see if you're even a candidate for this stuff, you can schedule a call with him. You can do that all through our site. You can get a copy of the free book. We printed it. We handle all those costs. You just cover shipping. You get the book sent to you. And we have a master class as well. We did a 90-minute master class talking about the 4 elements for a successful exercise department. One of them was leading into the belt system. We talked about this in a little bit of a different angle, not as detailed as what you just covered. So anyway, with that said, I'm gonna let Trainer Tony get back. He's got some patients to work with. I gotta probably adjust some people, and Kaylee over here needs to look busy organizing papers. That's what she does. Cool. All right.